What's up, everybody? This is Kenny Cummins here of Chilling with Kenny C right here on TMVCafe.com, bringing you entertainment to your ears. Kicking things off with tonight's show. It's my first guest, a recording artist, giving you a nice blend of rock, hip hop, music and theater feel, pop music as well. His latest single is called Detox, featuring the duo of Dawn, which is spelled differently, but it's pronounced like the soap that you wash yourself. Yeah. Uh Ner- Nerva. Nerva is joining me right now. How's it going?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing, Kenny?
I'm good, man. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you so much for having me. It's gonna be a blast.
I'm excited, man. I like the background. First off, looks like you in your studio. I see some drums
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
you. So that looks like you're in a studio, cooking some tunes and here and there. Um, I am a fan of Dawn. I've interviewed them a while back. Very awesome people.
Yeah, some of
Um,
my favorite people in Nashville.
so we'll definitely get into your latest single in just a bit. But first things first, man, how did you get started into music?
Damn, man. I'm the son of two musicians. So my parents both actually met in a jazz trio back in the day. So my dad played the drums and my mom sang, and thankfully I got both genes on that one. And yeah, I'd say music has just always been a part of my life since day one. I Some of my earliest memories were going to my dad's gigs and with my pots and pans, playing along as he was playing drums. And yeah, I got started when I was 5 and kind of did it for fun for a while. And then I joined my first band when I was like 13. We were like a classic rock cover band. That's when the itch really got me. And then yeah, I started writing my own music, and then it was off to the races. I went to college for songwriting. I then got out in 2019, right before the world ended. But when all that stuff went down, I just really took the time to delve into MNERVA and make this artist project. And now, 3 years later, it's been doing pretty good, and it's starting to make some noise. So I'm pretty proud about that.
That's definitely good to hear. I see that you are originally from Maryland,
Yep.
Germantown, Maryland to be specific.
Yeah.
You made the move to Nashville as of 2015.
Hmm.
So obviously, Nashville is a huge pond as it pertains to music.
Yes.
Hence, they call themselves Music City. I've chatted with many artists that's either originally from Nashville or made the move to Nashville. They've all had different experience there. For your perspective, how's it been for you making the move to Nashville and fulfilling your dream out here, pursuing this music thing in Nashville?
Man, Nashville is a wonderful city. It's changed a lot since I first moved there. As you said, I've been there since 2015. So, God, when I first got there, there was barely any pop scene. There was no rock scene to speak of. Like, it was just kind of like disparate bands. And over the last, almost decade now, wow, I'm old. Oh God, I hate that. But over the last, I know, man, it's crazy. Over the last almost decade, I've just watched there become this really amazing community of like-minded musicians. And like, we have an amazing pop punk scene now. And I mean, there's like, I got a bunch of like rapper friends now, and like, it's more than country music. And I'm really glad I moved to Nashville because it really taught me how to write a good song. Like, the best lyricists in the world are right here in the tri-state area, and I know when I first moved, like, musically I definitely was pretty good, but I was a terrible lyricist, and people were not shy to tell me that when I first got here. And I was really able to work on that craft because I was surrounded by the best, and that friendly competition really helps you progress your craft forward. So that's, I think, the best thing Nashville ever gave to me. And then I really focused on storytelling more than anything in my lyrics with Nashville. So that's, especially with my theater background, all that really worked together to make MNERVA what it is now.
Yeah, so I'm glad as I've read more about you, you mentioned the music theater background. which is definitely very rare in an artist. Some people may have theater experience, but they don't utilize it in their music. But talk about utilizing that music theater background into your music per se.
Yeah, totally. So, I never wanted to get into theater. It was not something I was interested in whatsoever. But when I was in high school, my school was very small, didn't have a music program. So I thought I was going to be a band kid and do all that stuff. And the only musical outlet I could have had was to go into audition for the musicals. And yeah, I just quickly learned that those were my people. Like I absolutely love that manic theater kid energy and like, just how there's no shame in saying something wacky and off the walls. It's all yes and like if you're playing improv games. Yeah, and I love that attitude toward life. There's no judgment. And so yeah, when I started making my own music, it was never intentional. It just kind of always snuck its way in there, like in the chord changes I would like, or just the type of melodies I would listen to. Because I love like 2000s rock, but other than listening to like that style stuff, I was also listening to a lot of musical theater. So it just kind of snuck its way in. And I've always liked more dramatic bands, such as like 21 Pilots or Mariana's Trench or Green Day, like these artists that have like made these concept records that are doing more than just telling a lyrical story. They're telling a musical story too. And so, yeah, just when I finally started to embrace that background, I found that the music just got more unique. And I think the audience really started to respond to it better because it felt more true to me because I wasn't trying to hide the fact that I'm a complete geek and theater nerd. I mean, I'm surrounded by lightsabers right now. Like, this is who I am.
Yeah, it definitely shows a lot of authentic in you as a person and as a artist, really showcasing your craft. I've been listening to some of your latest music, and I'm like, man, this is a very unique artist right here. Like
Yeah.
coming, make it going from Maryland to Nashville. Obviously, Nashville could be overwhelming for a lot of people, but it's how you know, how you manage it, how you handle it. It's going to people, see where do I go? Who do I go to? And it looks like you've ran into a lot of good people,
Yeah.
put out this music the way that you want to, and definitely looks like you're having a blast in this musical journey. You have put out a lot of incredible music. You got your latest full length album, Fragile.
Yeah.
That's available on the streaming platforms. Of course, I want to dive into Detox, which
Yeah.
features an incredible duo by the name of Dawn. Again, as I point out in the introduction, it's a duo also residing in Nashville. Spells different, but it is pronounced like the soap Dawn.
Uh,
Now,
me
let's
and
talk.
Don both can spell.
Yeah, and I've interviewed them recently. Very entertaining duo.
Oh, yeah.
We were just talking '90s nostalgia for most of the interview.
Oh, yeah.
I fell in love with them from the jump, and apparently you fell in love with them too with this detox track. So talk about how this came about and y'all work with each other for detox.
Totally. So, I met Don through my old roommate a while back, and he was like, "Dude, like you gotta meet these guys. Like, they're so your vibe, and also just like you're trying to get more into like that nostalgia 2000s and 90s like rock kind of thing." And I was like, let's see what happens. So we actually wrote Detox the first time we ever hung out. Like I went over to their place and yeah, we were just getting to know each other and I had just gone through like a massive breakup at the time. And so they had this idea for a song. They had like half a chorus written, which turned into Detox. And I was just like, guys, I haven't written about this breakup yet. I need to get something off my chest. And so we wrote it about oh my god like probably beginning of 2022 so it was like a while back and just the song kind of just sat and like it was I really loved where it went but like I don't think anyone was really planning on doing anything and then I started planning out my next full length record. So right now, I've only been putting out EPs or like remix records. Like Fragile is a remix of my EP Invincible, and so I was like, okay, the next step for me is like do like an album, like something real. And so when I was writing it and planning it, the whole thing's a concept record about my last relationship. I just was like, oh my God, Detox fits in this perfectly. Cause I mean, I was so fresh out of this breakup whenever I wrote it and with them. And so, yeah, we really brought the song back. We went in, like, made some finishing touches to it, made sure that, like, we were super happy with the lyric. And I mean, getting McCall on the singers on the second verse just really adds a new flavor. And it's one of my favorite songs on the album. I mean, I'm not planning on putting it out for a while, but like seeing just the response to like going in that more pop punk direction through this song has been really cool because I think it's really working.
So Detox just came out a little over a month last month in
Yeah.
September 15th. It is the latest single. It's not on Fragile. This is off your next project of original music, and that's going to be coming out in the foreseeable future. But the single itself, Detox, is out right now on the streaming platforms. Uh, Dawn, awesome. As I said, check out their music as well. Support independent musicians like Dawn and Nirvana. Check them out. So I want to talk Fragile here. You mentioned it. You said it was more of a remix type of record, original music, different versions of the Invisible Project. And I see you got some familiar uh, names on here that I'm very familiar with. Anastasia Elliott is on there.
Queen.
I love Anastasia. She's awesome. So talk about working on Fragile, and what made you go through, reworking this Invisible Project, but just, different versions of the song.
Totally. So Fragile was a really fun project to make. The epitome of a passion project. Like my now current roommate hit me up about wanting to do a acoustic version of my song "Sorry Forget About Me." He was like, "Yeah, literally, I'll do this for free. I just want to hear this." And I was like, "Hey, why not? Sounds fun." So we get in there, and I'm expecting like doing like an acoustic guitar and like keep it really bare bones, and we just kept building it out. We started putting like string patches on it and like a lot of like weird programming. And before I knew it, I was like, dude, I don't really want to cut another vocal for this. Like, let's just put the normal vocal track like from the song on and see how it sounds. And we did, and just our eyes got super wide. We were like, oh, this is really cool. And so yeah, then we just decided like, hey, what if we took this whole record and completely reimagined it as like this one continuous symphonic rock project. So if you listen to the EP, if you start at Invincible and end at Finale in Fragile, there's actually no stops. It's all gapless, and I had to pull some complete ridiculous moves, key change wise, in order to make that work. I'm like, all right, Invincible's an E, Sorry's an F. How do I do that? So I had a lot of fun with like making like these transition tracks. So that's why it's technically an album, is because there's like 9 songs, even though there's really 5, because of all these little transition tracks that I knew I didn't want to like make into, you know, we live in a singles world. I knew I just had to drop the songs, and if it had the transition, people would be like, "What the hell is this?" So, hey, gotta do what you gotta do for the art, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that project just came so organically, and I did not expect whatsoever to have that album come out last year. But yeah, I mean, Invincible to this day is my proudest thing I've ever made, and so just getting to extend the life cycle of that album through creating Fragile has been really fun. And now the lead single, Sorry, I mean, the original's gotten like over 400,000 streams, which is just insane to me. I never thought I'd get there, especially independent. So it's been really fun to watch, and I've kind of viewed 2023 as the victory lap of Invincible. It's like, hey, like I'm really just gonna stretch these songs for all they're worth, and then 2024 is gonna hit, and it's gonna be new era and new music, and Detox is the beginning of that, but it's just exciting. And, especially working on that record, I mean, Jack the Underdog, Michael McQuaid, Anastasia Elliott, Ren Eckert, like DNNY, Danny, like these are some of my favorite artists in Nashville, and getting them on one project together was really fun. So again, it just made me fall in love with these songs all over again that I've been working with since like 2021.
400,000
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Crazy.
for an independent artist.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And I like how you explain the transitions. Now I'm definitely gonna have to listen to this
Yeah,
Friday
yeah.
right after I get through with the show. But you're very unique in what you do. Some of the genres that you put together and making it into your own. Now we was talking 90s nostalgia, 2000s nostalgia.
Mhm.
So who's some artists that has inspired you from the 90s or 2000s or maybe some different decade? Who's some artists have inspired you?
Totally. Well, my favorite artist of all time is and always will be Linkin Park. Like, no question there. I mean, the day Chester died, I've never cried over a celebrity, and that one destroyed me. But yeah. So I mean, the way they seamlessly fuse electronic music and rock and hip hop. I mean, I very much want to be a continuation of that spirit in everything I do. But I'm also a big pop punk guy. I mean, my next record especially is very leaning that way. I've been super into Blink 182 and Sum 41 recently, and same with All Time Low. I mean, I really lived through a golden age of music and didn't even realize it at the time. That was just, what was coming out when I was a kid. And yeah, going back to 90s though, big grunge guy. Like my sense of harmony, like really comes from my love of Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and all those like early 90s cats. I mean, I'm lucky to say that I actually play drums for a living down at the clubs in Nashville, and so most of what I do is just play '90s music and early 2000s like pop punk. And I we're basically a request show, and whenever people call any song, it's great because I'm usually like, oh yeah, I lived through that. I remember this. Of course, I can totally play that. So yeah, man, those two eras in particular, like I always love finding new ways to bring back that spirit while still like making it work in today's day and age, and like with today's rhetoric, like in lyrics and everything else. So and then I mean going to hip hop too. I mean, my god, like we're talking like traditional hip hop. I mean, you got guys like like Tupac. I mean, like Kanye coming much later, and like J. Cole in the next generation. I mean, just people who have like really taught me the art of storytelling. And again, like getting really into hip hop culture was like my entire college experience. So I think music history is so important to examine, because there's a reason that all that music has made its way and still been remembered today. Like there's hundreds of thousands of songs being released every day, and most of them won't be remembered. So I think the ones that do have that staying power, there's always something that you can learn from them.
Yeah, feel like J. Cole, he's been on a tear um with some of his recent music, especially some of the features he's been doing. Like if you haven't heard the Secret Recipe joint with Lil Yachty, I
Dude,
mean Cole went off on that track.
that's what I love
Uh
about him too, man. You can put him on any type of beat with any type of
yeah,
artist. He's gonna just rise to the top. I mean,
yeah,
like he calls himself the middle child for a reason.
yeah. Fayetteville, North Carolina, that's a small city.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's very heartwarming, a guy like him not coming from a big name city, and he just went on to become a household name
Yeah.
with hard work and dedication as it pertains to pop punk. And you know, I I grew up. I born in the '80s. I really started listening to music in the '90s. Good timing for me because '90s is lit.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm jealous, man.
I watched TRL
Mhm.
every day after school. I'll be watching TRL or 106 in Park, and then I'll be doing the homework. Like I had to watch TR, I had to watch the top 10. Carson Daly hosting it. This was Carson before he was doing the voice.
Yeah, yeah.
That was, that was a time in music when you, all these genres was on the same countdown. There wasn't no genre that was excluded at all. That was a time. So I definitely dig that.
You know, man,
Um,
I always say I wish I was born in '86 instead of '96 because yeah, dude, I missed all of that, man. Like I wasn't like pop culture relevant until like 2009, and then I was just like that weird kid who like hated everybody's music they were listening to then, and like, oh, but this was 10 years ago. They're like, we don't care, and dude, and that now everyone's like, oh, this shit is so good, man. I'm like, yeah, I know. I've been telling you that since I was a child.
that's kind of like how my parents would say about their era of music compared to today's music.
Yeah.
They grew up with Motown and Elton John and
Oh yeah.
Meatloaf, and I wasn't hating on it at the time. I just didn't quite comprehend it at a young age. Like I'm just a kid. I'm just listening to anything. Then I listened to it at an older age, and like now I know how they feel
Yeah.
with this music. It's
Well, and talk about
timeless music.
yeah, and talk about staying power. I mean, my God, the fact that like, you can show the Beatles to like, a lot of young kids and not everybody likes it at this point, but it's like, I mean, this is still ridiculously relevant music and it
Yeah,
is so inspiring. I mean, to this day, if I want to be inspired, like I'm gonna put on like, an early Led Zeppelin record or a Beatles record or like, jump up to like Nirvana or something like that to like be like, wow, this is just good pop music in its purest form.
yeah, very, very pure indeed. Check out this talented artist. Got the new remix record, Fragile. That's on the platforms. Detox featuring Dawn. It's available on all the platforms as well. Go ahead and let people know where they can find you on social media.
Absolutely. So on Instagram, you can find me at MNERVA Official. So Minerva has no I because it's not about me. So it goes MNERVA. Yeah, that's totally not a planned speech, I promise. But MNERVA Official. And you can find me on TikTok at Minerva Music. So almost the same thing. And yeah, Spotify, Apple Music. Deezer, Title, wherever you're at, I am there. So yeah, Detox is out now, and yeah, go check out Invincible, my latest project. It's definitely, I still think the best thing I've ever put out. If you want to listen to something front to back.
Absolutely, man. It's great to have you on the show. Thanks you for being on. Look forward to your next project, which Detox will be on the
Will.
next project. And just support independent music, everybody. Show your support, continue success. And with this now, the cold weather is gonna start kicking in. So usually stay warm, cool. Now stay warm. Now
Oh
stay
yeah,
cool now. So,
I agree. Hey, thank you.
so
Thank you for the great questions.
thank you, man. You have a good night.
You as well, man.
All right, bye.
Yeah, see you around, dude.
All right.